Hey everyone, it's Jim Hegemier. Again, it's Leslie Wells Realty, and I got to tell you, things are heating up around here. As usual, we're not about legal or financial advice, but when it comes to real estate, we have got it going on. Listen, first off, all of the craziness that you hear behind me, that's the strong backs and heavy lifters. There's movers and packers and equipment everywhere this morning. So, listen, we're moving 2 lots over to the west. We'll walk a few steps further to the Italian restaurant, but we're in our own standalone building nowadays with our own parking lot and a super large lighted sign out front next to the brand new auto parts store. So if you can't find us, consider yourself geographically location challenged. Listen, Leslie Wells Realty has become the representative for over 30 new home builders in our area. We're basically a one-stop shop for new construction. We have built relationships with the new home communities, and we are here to represent the consumer in eliminating stress and confusion in what could be a very trying time for the buyer. Best of all, we are paid by the builders, and I'm certain that as a negotiator for you in your next home purchase, we can save you money. For instance, I just sold a new home yesterday. And can I say the name? Okay, no names, but we negotiated a sizable chunk of money at the design center and upgrades. My friend and associate Donna Wilcox and I would be happy to share with you how we do that. You know, it's not like negotiating on a car or any other commodity. It doesn't work like that. You know, besides all that, we're talking about working with mortgage lenders today. And I've heard people say, well, I'm going to shop online till I find the lowest rate. Yeah, whatever. You know, that's not hard. Go online and you can find whatever you're looking for. You know, you're right. A good rate is a good rate. But what about the fees, the points, the charges? And I'll bet you that anyone can go online and get a pre-qual letter from some of these companies. Doesn't mean a thing. Doesn't mean a thing until you see a GFE or a TIL. You know, that's a good faith estimate or a truth in lending statement. This online pre-qual that you have, well, what's the cell number of the agent? Will they be at the closing? What happens when the HUD-1 doesn't match the GFI or the TIL? What do we do when we're all at the closing table, and yes, Donna and I go to the closings. We're all sitting around the table, and there's a document in the loan package that we don't recognize, and someone says, well, what's this? Friends, I've been there. Suddenly the room gets very quiet and warm, and I know, let's call your lender's switchboard in Jacksonville or Atlanta or wherever. It's just a bad place to be, so no one wants to walk away from a closing table without a closing. Plus, I've seen our friends at REMN get very competitive with terms and rates, and they know the local programs, the bond programs, the special housing initiative programs, and the down payment assistance programs. You know, there are, on occasion, loans that REMN aren't able to do. And they'll tell you up front, though, before you waste all your time and money and energy. Now, I don't want this to sound like a big commercial for REMN, but this mortgage process is 80% communication and 90% experience and knowledge. Wait, that'd be 170%. Well, that's what we think of Pete, Janine, and Kyle at REMN. And now it's time for your friend and mine, Donna Wilcox. Hey, Donna Wilcox, how are you today?
I'm fantastic, Jim. I'm on my way to a closing, and the mortgage lender happens to be Peter Minarich at REMN.
Good for you. You know, I think it's pretty cool we're having Pete on the podcast this month. You know, you and I think the world of our friends at REMN and here in Bradenton, and I know that you have lots of success in new construction, and you've done tons of transactions with lenders. But what are you looking for in a lender to help with your next prospective buyer, a new construction or any other transaction for that matter?
Okay, well, I'll start at the end of a transaction and work back to the beginning. The end of my transaction with Peter Minarich today, he's going to be there at the closing table.
There you go.
And that's extremely important to me, to have a mortgage lender be there at the closing table just in case there's a little glitch. You and I have both been through closings where the lender is wherever in the world today, and we have to wait for a response or an email or whatever, or if there's a missing document. And with Peter Minarich, Janine McGowan, Kyle Cutchin there at REMN, they are phenomenal at the end of that transaction, as well as the very beginning. And what am I looking for a mortgage lender? I'm looking for a lender that primarily is local for us, someone that will shop my buyer's loan. They don't necessarily go to one specific lender. They shop the loan. They get the best deal. They get the best interest rate. I noted, too, that on every single one of their mortgages, they never have a penalty for closing early. They stick to the lowest interest rate that they possibly can get for my buyers and your buyers, and for everyone else, for that matter. I need somebody that's going to be readily available to me 24/7 if I need a pre-approval on a client. They'll do that. They go out of their way. They'll go away from a Sunday lunch long enough to take brief information for my buyer and get them pre-approved. So that way we're looking in the right direction for the right home at the right price. So many times lenders from whoever knows where will go way out and send a piece of paper that says you've been pre-approved, and all they've done is get the information from the buyer and guesstimate everything. With REMN, they don't do that. They get very specific. They stay in touch all the time. They put you in a forward all email regarding everything that's going on with the buyer. They ask first for permission from us. Can they speak directly to our buyer? And that isn't even the law. It's something they feel they need to do to keep you and I and all realtors in tune with all the lending that they're doing. Therefore, you have somebody that's local. You have somebody that's looking out for you and your buyer, and you're immediately notified if there's a glitch. They don't go to the buyer and say, you need to send me more forms. They send an email to us that says, here is a forward to everybody. Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, we need additional information, and your agent is available, I'm available, and thus they do a fantastic job. And it sounds like I'm a little bit on the one-sided part, but I will tell you this also, they are so well detailed that they are even in the new construction as preferred lenders for numerous builders that we have in our area. So that's what I'm looking for. I don't want to turn it completely over to an unknown person and me out of the loop, such as I'm having to do tomorrow. I don't have any information from anybody on a closing supposed to take place at 10 o'clock. And just so the listener is understanding, a mortgage loan goes to a title closing company. And without those proper documents going to that title company, the title company cannot do a bona fide closing statement to show your buyer exactly how much they're going to have at the closing table, and sellers as well. They also send that out to realtors to show that they are asking for our approval as well. And sometimes we do find little glitches in HOAs or homeowners association information and so on and so forth. But they always make sure that we're connected to that transaction. That's why I like them.
Well, very well said. It sounds like you've been there before, right?
Many times. And as I said, I'm on my way now to close with Peter Minarich, and he'll be at that closing table with me, and we're in good shape for my buyers. They're all excited, and I love the smile on their faces when they get that final document signed off and someone hands them a key and a garage door opener.
Sounds like a winner. Donna, I know that you're busy. I appreciate you, and I'll talk to you soon. Have a great day, okay?
Thanks so much, Jim Hegemier. Appreciate you, too.
All right, take it easy. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now.
Donna Wilcox. If you want to get a hold of Donna Wilcox, give her a call on her cell phone directly, 941-518-8090. That's Donna Wilcox, 941-518-8090. Or shoot her an email, Donna@LeslieWellsRealty.com. Thanks again, Donna. Okay, let's see if we can give Pete Minarich a call here. Here's what's going to happen. The phone's going to ring. He'll pick up by, let's say, the third ring. Guarantee it. Watch. First ring.
Good afternoon, REMN, Pete Minarich.
Hey, Pete Minarich, Jim Hegemier. How are you?
Good, how you doing, man?
Good, man. Hey, is this a good time?
Sure.
Good. Hey, listen, I know that you guys do new construction loans because you've done a few of them for me, But let me ask you, what are the parameters or the process of doing this on new construction?
Well, the new construction, most of the builders out there require us just to do what's called end loans. So end loans is nothing more really than a mortgage on a completed home. Some builders very few are requiring construction perm loans, which require the builder to be funded money to build a home from the lender. We haven't seen too many of those yet because of the majority of the builders out there are liking the control of being able to build the home with their own nickel, if you would, and then close when the home is done. The downfall on that, obviously, is the time frame it takes to build a home, your interest rate locks. Obviously, the way we've been going here in the last 2-3 weeks, the rates are climbing steadily every day. Mm-hmm. And so the unknown of the final interest rate is something that is a little bit of a concern. But we at REMN have two programs we can try to help them with: a lock and shop, where somebody can actually lock in a rate, but they're only good for 4 months, and an extended lock program where they have a home and they're not closing for up to 4 months. So that gives a builder plenty of time to build, and then that kind of hopefully helps them with the anxiety of rates rising, and they can lock in today's rate and still get that in 2, 3, 4 months when the home is complete.
Yeah, gotcha. Hey, listen, I know a lot of these construction companies have their own financing. Can you compete with them? Why should a company use REMN, or why should a buyer use REMN instead of the builder's loan company?
Well, the big thing is, again, if you're talking construction perm, we're a mortgage lender. We're not a bank-owned mortgage lender, so we don't do a lot of construction permanent loans. But as far as the existing home or close when the home is complete, everything's done locally here. The processing's done locally. The other thing that we can, again, not to repeat myself, but we go back to the lock and shop and the extended rate lock, and then we do have a free float down if the rates have improved, up to about 4 or 5 business days before we close. If they've improved, we can usually give them a little bit better of a deal than when they originally locked in at. I don't know anybody that'll do that out there right now. You never say never, but sometimes you hear things, and I'm not aware of anybody that offers that. But the biggest thing is that everything's done here locally in our office in Bradenton, the processing and approval of the loans, and all we do is mortgages, and we're not bank owned, even though we're mortgage bankers. So that's probably the big advantage with REMN.
Sure, makes sense to me. What about this? I've got buyers out there that are currently homeowners. Can they use their existing home to qualify for building a new one?
Yes, that's possible to do that. We're doing a couple for a few people right now that we're taking the equity in their existing home and actually timing it to where they can get approved with both homes. And these two sets of people basically sold their home and made a closing date out a little bit, so it worked out for them. And then we can always make their loan size a little bit lower. So there isn't any more bridge loans out there like there used to be, but we are approving a few people with both payments. And then, of course, if their home sells, like these two folks were lucky enough to sell their home, they'll even have more money to put down on the new home. So that's how we've been dealing with that as far as the having two homes at once. But, yeah, it is possible to deal with that, and, of course, we'll work with them the best we can.
Sounds good to me, man. Listen, Pete, I appreciate you. I know you're a busy fella. As usual, you're the man. Thanks for taking the call.
You got it, man. Have a great day.
All right, talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, Pete Minarich. What a blessing it is to have Pete with us today. Listen, you want to give Pete a call, it's at 941-782-2077. Again, Pete Minarich, 941-782-2077. Or shoot him an email, PMINARIC@REMN.com. Pete Minarich. Thanks very much, Pete. Well, there you have it. And what an awesome podcast we had today. We want to thank Donna Wilcox, Realtor Extraordinaire. We want to thank Pete Minarich of REMN. We want to thank Pastor Bob for the hot guitar licks. Sorry to Leslie Wells, we're out of time. Maybe next month. And thank you for listening to So, How's Real Estate?